So, I'm going to share one story with you, final story, and it's a personal story. My son, he's 10 years old. He is adopted. And when he was 5 years old, he was in the middle of 3 children. He came into our school. And I told him that day, I looked at him, he was with a foster big family. He had just come out of a hospitalization for 6 weeks. And I looked at him and I said, you are the most awesome kid in the world. I just saw it, you know? So the next day he comes in, bright, smiling, sunshine face, and he sits there and says, remember me? I was like, yeah, Jesse, I do remember you. I said, you were at the meeting yesterday. And he said, yeah, but I'm the most awesome kid in the world. Yeah, you are. All right. Some days I did not think he was the most awesome kid in the world. Ask him to open up a book, he'd throw it. Ask him to try to write his name, and he'd tell us where to go. Actually, no, he would say go take a leak or something, because he's never used profanity. Believe it or not, I'm telling the truth. So, a little bit background on him. He's in the middle of 3. His sister's a year older than he is. His brother is a year younger. They were removed right before his brother was born from both parents. And then we were given back to the mother 6 months later. His brother was born, and then at age 5 they were removed permanently. Put in a foster home together. Jesse was the most verbal, the most aggressive, the most angry. And he was so angry that he lasted 2 weeks in the home and was put in the hospital. Came out with a ton of medication that made him pretty lethargic, not interested. The family, the therapeutic foster family, said, you know, he's all boy. So, unfortunately, they decided to take him off all medicine. Not a good thing either, because he had depression, and he was angry, and he was hurt, and he felt guilt. He thought he had done this to the family. And one day, I bet Miss Mandy remembers this day, there was an all-call. This young man, Jesse, had run out of the classroom and ran outside, ran up the gym stairwell outside the building onto the top of the building and threatened to jump. 5 years old, and he did not want to live anymore. Did not want to live anymore. 5 years old! Can you imagine life being so unjustifiable and unfair? He just didn't want to live it anymore. He didn't have anything. He had no purchase. So, one of our staff members helped get him down, and we put him, took him to this room called the resolution room, and helped process with him. And at the time we had a therapist there, and he was sitting there crying, and all I could do was respond by picking him up and saying, "Come here," you know. And he sat in my lap, and we just sat there until he started, you know, kind of slowly stopped crying. And I said, "You know what? I hear what you're saying. I hear you're angry. I hear you're frustrated. I hear you're worried. You're anxious. You're scared. All of those things at 5, every day." I said, "But what can I do to help you get back to my classroom? Because we're going to do science, and we're making bubbles, and we're doing all of this." I said, "What can I do?" And he just puts my hair behind my ear, and he says, "You could be my mom." Oh, I wish I had brought my coffee cup. He didn't know it at the time. I looked right at the therapist, and I was like, you know, try not to cry. I said, "You know what? Let's talk about that later." And we moved to the classroom. So let's go have fun. Needless to say, unfortunately, the foster family that he was with were doing criminal activity in their home. By the end of that year, he was placed in another therapeutic foster family in a different county. And all the while, he did not know it, because I couldn't give him one more disappointment. But I was taking classes. I had to do the MAP classes, the therapeutic foster care classes, the fire inspections, and it seemed like one door would shut and one more would open. And without my ACT family saying, go for it, we're here for you. Little did they know, I'm single. You know, I was after a 10-year divorce, and I'm single. And I'm thinking about this child with all these needs. Today, 3.5 years later, he is in 5th grade. I cannot claim any part to the genetic makeup, but he is superior IQ. We did not know that at the time. By 1st grade, he wasn't reading and writing. Superior IQ, 2 points away from genius. He is in AIG classes. He is in Boy Scouts, choir, children's choir at school, at church. And he takes responsibility. He is the first one to come home and say, Mom, something happened today. I'm like, well, tell me about it. What happened? And he'll say, well, I really don't want to talk about it. You know what? I'll be wrong. Because he knows. We went through a 1.5 years with him hitting the wall, making holes in the wall. But guys, you know what? I built that relationship here. I never once said, don't do that. I never once said, you can't do that. Because I let him control him. He had to learn how to control these things himself. And I just want to let you know that even the most difficult child you will ever have, it may be a child in your classroom, it may be a relationship partner, it may be a spouse, it may be a colleague, it may be your next door neighbor. That relationship, above all academic pieces, is the most important. So, with that said, we thank you for coming here today. I encourage you to continue to do your best and to really think about who you want to be in that classroom. Before you go in there, think about this what ifs. What if you ask the child to come in and get out their math book and they refuse to? Go to that Love and Logic book and say, next time this happens, I'm going to try this. Plan it out. It takes practice. It doesn't come natural. But once you get into it, I can't use that without, I talk to my colleagues that way now. I give them choices, and it's just a natural habit to me now. So if you invest in anything, invest in your kids' Love and Logic book. Please take advantage of the video of Richard LeRoy. He does some great things that are on YouTube, free of charge. And take care of you too. So.